Alright, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're back at home. Nice. Alright, now we're ready to go. Let's lock in for some sprint qualifying. I literally got home like 10 minutes ago. Sorry that I'm 2 minutes late. I usually try and be on time. But we have some new exciting feature to show you. Let's just do this one. How about this? What? Hugo! Fingers crossed we're back on Windows for some proper MS Paint. We are back on Windows, so we can have some proper MS Paint tonight. Romy says, what's up? See? Isn't this fun? I can now show you which comment I am responding to. So that's great. That's great fun. That is great fun. Hamshaw says, hey. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Alrighty. Yeah, so what we're doing tonight, or this afternoon, I guess, we're doing a couple things. First, we're going to watch the sprint qualifying. That starts in 30 minutes. Dark says, yo, how's it going? It's going great. I just got home. Fresh cut, fresh trim, you know. Thomas says, hey, Rain, ready for this? I'm ready for this too, Thomas. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, we're doing a couple of things today. We are checking out the sprint qualifying, which starts in 30 minutes. And then after that, we're going to have some just general discussion things. I am posting a video tonight, mainly about, you know, what my final transfer is looking likely to be, and also my quick input on all of the chips, like which chips I think you should use for this sprint. I've got a lot of questions about the 3X. We're going to talk about that. I've got a lot of questions about the Node Negative. We're going to talk about that. And what I thought we would do is try to do it live on stream. So I have prepared some segments, basically like the 3X talk, and I'll do it live on stream, and then I'll just clip it. So after I end stream, I'll go into the stream, take all the things down, and upload it from the stream. So I'll do it live, so you guys can have inputs for the actual video. Roman says, does sprint quality give points? No, it does not, which is why the deadline is actually tomorrow. I'm doing another deadline stream that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. So get up early, be ready for that. The deadline is at 12, so the sprint is at 12 tomorrow. Nice fade, bro. Cheers, Benjamin. Petro says, Mercedes for a podium again. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't watched FP1, by the way. I was away. You know, trim, all that. So I haven't seen FP1, so I have no idea what happened there. Tell you what, that Verstappen engine issue where he just sat on track was the best troll of the season. The chaos if he had to start from the pit would have been insane. Did that happen in FP1? Because if that happened in FP1, I have no idea what you're talking about. What time zone? It's 10. It's 10 right now. So 10 a.m. Central Eastern time. So France, Stockholm, from Sweden. So Norway, Oslo, Germany. It's 2 hours before the sprint. So if you know when the sprint is, 2 hours before that. Vanson says, hi from Perth, Australia. What's up? You have to get up early tomorrow for... Oh, wait, no, late. It's late in Austria. Oh, yeah. You have like an afternoon sprint tomorrow. Or evening sprint, I guess. What's up, Vanson? What's up, everyone? So yeah, I have this new little toy. I can basically just flick through, see what you guys are saying, which makes it easier for you guys to see what I'm actually commenting on. When I get a lot of questions, so that's fun. 24 minutes left of FP1. He got some warning and just sat rolling backwards on the pit straight and caused a red flag. I need to look into that. That sounds really funny. Then came into the pit, reset at everything. I mean, you know, it's Max Verstappen, I guess. Let's see here. Yep. I should do this. Let's see. I'm just gonna fix some things here. Don't you worry about me. Let's see. How am I supposed to watch? I'm running out of screens. I'm noticing that is a concurring issue for me, that I am running out of space. I need a third screen for this. I'm like managing 14 tabs on one side, streaming one side. Then came into the pit, reset everything fine. Classic Max. How bad will the grid penalty be if Max switches the part? I don't know how much it will be. Actually, I don't know. I think Hugo says 5 places. I think that sounds reasonable. But can't they change things now? Because it's before quali? I actually don't know. Mimensa says debating whether to use double B lineup with both Mercedes and or a single A with either with Lando or Max. We'll see how things turn up. If you're running single A, I would run Lando. Yeah. So if you haven't watched my transfer plans video, basically I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of doing this. Jump in on the Alpine hype, get Rebel Racing in for the sprint, and then I had like 3 options for what to do this week. If I do this now, that means that next weekend in Silverstone, I either stick with the single A with Lando Norris for 1 more week, or I take a -10 to switch to double B. That is sort of my deal. So this is, I haven't made any transfers. Don't make any transfers yet, but that's sort of what I'm looking at. Marian says, I really like Norris, Ham, McLaren, Mercedes this weekend. Yeah, I mean, if you have Norris and Hamilton, McLaren, Mercedes, that looks pretty strong. I'm looking at. I actually haven't really thought about getting McLaren over Red Bull because I'm so fixated on the fastest pit stop points. If I do this, I still can't afford Stroll though, so I still have to wait. Actually, I can sell Yuki instead if V-Carb still look bad, right? So I can sell Yuki. I can't afford Gasly though. It would have to be for one of these guys. Actually, that could work, right? If I do Yuki to, say, a show, and then next weekend I go back to Ferrari, I sell Lance Stroll, and I sell Ocon, I think I can afford in 3 moves then. So maybe I don't go for Red Bull. Maybe I go for McLaren in the constructor spot. Can I afford a Russell here? It's still 4 moves. I don't want Logan Sargent. It would have to be something like this. Let's see, let's get McLaren, and yeah, it would still be 4 moves to switch to it. So McLaren over Red Bull doesn't really change anything to me. I would have to keep Ferrari for this weekend if I want to not take a -10 next week, essentially. Mercedes looking solid. Yep, I know. Bro, I got Hussein says, bro, I got Sainz, Hamilton, Yuki, K-Mag Show, Mercedes, Ferrari with 115.4 and 2 transfers. What do you think I should do? Ooh, I mean, that is a pretty good team. I would like to get some Alpines in there since they look pretty strong. I don't know how strong Sainz will be this weekend. How is Sainz compared to like Piastri? They're literally the same price. We'll see. It depends on qualifying, man. I can't really say now. It depends on qualifying. But maybe Sainz for someone else, and then you can upgrade. You can't really upgrade though, can you? Yeah, it depends on qualifying. Yeah, or sprint qualifying, I should say. Clyde says, really considering triple Mercedes with Autopilot, what do you think? I'm gonna get to the Autopilot, so all of the chip talks we're gonna do after the sprint quali. Essentially, what I've prepared, I can sort of switch over here. I have a little special window prepared for this. Here we go. So I have like an Austrian GP, and I haven't written anything here yet because it completely depends on like what happens. So we can add things here live, sort of make a little mind map, spicy mind map. A little spicy mind map after the qualifying. So yeah, that is sort of the plan there. But yeah, it depends a lot on sprint quali. But in general, right now, I think I wouldn't use 3 times DRS because I think I will be able to afford Lando and Verstappen at a later sprint in like Kota or Sao Paulo. So I think that, but again, if you're sitting on a 2B lineup, say you're sitting on like Lando and Hamilton, like someone was. Marion was sitting on Norris and Hamilton. Say Norris and Hamilton qualify in like P11 and P12 in the sprint qualifying, I would pop the 3x instantly. Like, I wouldn't even think about it, right? Because they're gonna get overtakes like crazy. So the 3x, if you're on a single B or single A lineup like I am, you definitely don't 3x. If you're a 2B or 1A 1B lineup right now, and your two drivers perform poorly in the sprint quali, I think you pop it instantly. So yeah, when are you planning on using the 3x as John? Yeah, so I'm personally not using the 3x here because I have a single A, single B lineup in Lando Norris, so I don't have a second driver to put the 2x on, which means I'm saving it. So I'm using it either in Kota or in Brazil. Clyde says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hugh says, I saw someone say this is a 3-pit circuit usually. Is that right? Because if so, surely Red Bull is the way to go. 6 pits, they bound to get first, second, and third fastest. That's a very, very good point. And also, Red Bull are just really strong at Red Bull Ring. They're always really, really strong here. So I just really, really like Red Bull here. Let's switch back to this. Mateo says, what do you think about Norris, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Mag, Tsunoda, Ferrari, Mercedes? I mean, it looks like a really strong team. You have Norris, you have Leclerc. If Ferrari look bad, you can swap Leclerc to a Hamilton or a Russell easily. And then the only thing is like Hulk, Mag, and Tsunoda. If VCarb still looks bad, I really like the Alpines right now. So maybe you get a Gasly in there, but it looks pretty strong, Mateo. Josh says, what are your thoughts on using no negative? Should I save for another sprint race? If it rains in Austria, it's looking like a great opportunity to use the no negative, but we're going to talk about that later as well. Minivini says, don't use no negative this race. I wouldn't be so sure. Hi, my lovely girlfriend. Hussein says, Verstappen engine looks scary. Maybe it does. Caleb says, first time viewer, do you support a team or do you just enjoy playing fantasy? I am a Ferrari supporter. Born and raised. Yeah, I used to watch Formula 1 with my dad when I was little, watching Schumacher, so I have a Ferrari bias in my heart. But I try to not apply the Ferrari bias too much in fantasy. Mimensa, which team is more powerful? Norris plus Russell with Ferrari, Mercedes, or Norris slightly better C-tiers, McLaren and Mercedes as constructors? That's really close. I think the good C-tiers are really powerful in this sprint race. It's an easy track to overtake. There's going to be a lot of just DRS overtaking back and forth. Paris actually looked on pace, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah, we should look at the... let's see. Look at Austria. Let's just go to latest, I guess. We should look at the free practice, what happened, because I have not been watching. Let's look at the result from practice 1. So we have Max Verstappen still fastest despite engine issues. Oscar Piastri second, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Ocon 6th, Stroll, Perez at 11th, but this does not really show the race pace. Has Rain bought you dinner yet? I have not been able to take the money out yet. Here you go. I need to reach, what is it, $100 before I can take the money out. And also she's in Norway for 2 months, so we're long distance for a while. So not yet. But thank you so much for the donation 3 weeks ago now. It will happen, I promise. TBH, we kind of need Ferrari to stay a bit off the pace just to make the decision making easier. True. Daniel says, glad to be here. Glad you are here, Daniel. Fraser says, Merc looked good for long run. Their pace on hards was stellar. Yeah. Any information that you have about the free practice session that I can't see from this, please let me know. I would love to look into that. If oh my God, Hugo, thank you so much. The first I remember. I think you have the one emote that I prepared, which is like Max wins again. Thank you so much, Hugo. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put that there for a while. New member. Thank you so much, Hugo. Welcome to the members only club. There's not that much yet. I'm gonna add more stuff. There you go. Yep, that's my disappointed face when Max wins. Nice. Alright, Hugo, that's really, really kind of you. I'm gonna make sure there's more member perks once I hit 1,000 subs. That's the goal. Once I hit 1,000 subs, I can start adding member stuff. More emotes and stuff. Let's see. yeah, we'll leave Hugo's little new membership there for a while and I'll just answer some questions. Roman says, I still have Wildcard. Are we discussing that today? We'll discuss the what? We'll discuss every chip after the qualifying. So every chip will probably have like a 50. Some chips go very, very quickly, like Final Fix. Or, I mean, if there's a really good option to Final Fix. But yeah, we're doing like later. Let's see. You locked already? No, I'm not locked. I'm not locked. The plan is... the plan right now is doing this and then adding Gasly. I think that's the plan. And then next weekend, I either have to stick with a single B or take a -10. But I think the Red Bull Racing is going to get more than 10 points more than the Ferrari. That's essentially what I'm weighing up. If Red Bull Racing outscore Ferrari by more than 10 points, this decision was correct. So, let's see. What do we have here? We have... Caleb Lee says, how does scoring work in F1 Fantasy? It's very... There's a lot of things. You can check it out here. It's on How to Play or Game Rules. I think it's on Game Rules, actually. On the Formula 1 websites. Yeah, there you go. Essentially, you get points in qualifying. You don't get points in sprint qualifying, which is why the deadline is tomorrow. And then you get... points based on overtakes, positions gained, and the actual points they get in the race. Constructors get points for fastest pit stop. There's points for driver of the day, fastest lap. So there's a bunch of things. I'm probably making a like proper how to play guide before next season, so at the end of the season. Should I get Gasly or Stroll in? I think Gasly looks stronger right now. I'm personally looking to get rid of Lance Stroll rather soon. He's done the job for me. I bought him in at like 10 million and he's risen like 3 million in price while I've had him. So Stroll has done the deed for me. Let's see. Aguilar says Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes. McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes. That made no sense in my head. Ferrari, McLaren / Mercedes, or McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes. Yeah, McLaren could be really strong. I've just been looking at Red Bull, to be honest. So I think I probably prefer Ferrari, Mercedes because you can fit better B tier drivers. And like the value in McLaren is really Lando Norris, so I'd rather have Lando Norris. Where are you in the rankings currently? Yeah, I don't have that right now, but I can show you. Let's open this. We have public leagues. You can also join my league. I don't know if the link is in the description. My global rank is 9,340, so I'm inside the top 10k, which is decent. Piastri did do good, Shubham. Piastri did do good. So yeah, and I'm top 240 in Sweden. So yeah, we're top 2,500 out of Ferrari fans. Let's see some questions. So tomorrow, the real MVP. True. Will there be a no chip? Of course. The no chip strategy is just what I'm gonna do. I'm making 6 different segments based on chips. I'm probably not playing a chip. So yeah. Parzival, in the long runs... Oh, good that you posted a long comment. We can see how the graphic works on long comments. It actually works decently well. In the long runs, Merck showed race-winning potential. Russ was quick as Ham was just 0.13 seconds per lap slower than Piastri and Sainz on 38-lap-old hards, according to F-Data Analysis. Thank you so much, Parzival, for that information. Mercedes is looking good then, so I like the dual lineups with Mercedes. With Mercedes drivers looks really strong then. But if they're slow in qualifying, then perhaps do we need to lock in before quali today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. The deadline is check the deadline. It's at 19 hours. That is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time when the sprint starts. So it's not before quali tomorrow, it's before the sprint tomorrow. So I'm doing a deadline stream at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So why RB, why not McLaren? Because I want Max Verstappen points. I already get points from McLaren with Lando, so I'm hedging my bets. Red Bull have fastest pit stops. There's likely to be a lot of pit stops in the race. Perez can get a couple of overtakes if he stinks it out in qualifying. So yeah, that's why I'm going Red Bull over McLaren, Shubham. But I mean, I don't hate McLaren. Like McLaren looks really, really strong. All the 4 constructors at the top look like amazing picks. Thoughts on replacing Mercedes or Ferrari for Alpine for budget building? It depends on your budget. I think you don't do it if you're like at 115. If you're down, like if you started late, if you started your team late and you're like at 105 million, I don't think you do it. If you want a budget build, I think you just run Ferrari, Mercedes. Once Ferrari and Mercedes hit 25 million, then we can start talking about a potential Alpine or Aston as second constructor. So I think for right now, Pedro, unless you're super poor and like started late, down at like 105 million, I don't think. So yeah, if you're replacing Merc or Ferrari, you're replacing Ferrari this week for sure. We just need Lance and Sargent to stay on track, just don't crash. Actually, I wouldn't mind Sargent crashing because I'm not gonna have him. And I need my C tiers to rise in price. We need some. Yep. Nice, thank you so much, Hugo, again. Lol, no chip strategy is most weeks, to be fair. True. Let's see. I'm 14,000. Nice, Robbie. Nice. Brickwall Productions is Max and Nico or Lando and K-Mag. Lando and K-Mag, 100%. I think both Lando and K-Mag are better than Max and Nico. I think Lando just gets driver of the day. He's going to get more points than Max. He's going to be close. K-Mag starts further back, more chances for overtakes in the sprints. I think that is a no-brainer. But that might change, so don't make the transfer yet. I'm giving out advice now, but don't make any transfers, okay? Don't make any transfers because we need to watch the sprint quali. Let's see, what do we have here? Boom. Oh, really proud. Thank you, darling. Sierra says Red Bull looking good here. Red Bull always looking good at the Red Bull ring. Andy says Red Bull plus Sargent or McLaren plus Show. Now that's a closer one. I think I'm just a Sargent in fantasy hater. No offense if you're a Logan Sargent fan, but I think it's just gonna get left in the dust. But if it's for a 1 week punt, I don't hate Red Bull Sargent. But I mean, Show has not been like Show in Barcelona was his best performance so far this season, and he didn't rise in price. So let's see. Yeah, don't take out Merc this week. Don't do it. Mint says thoughts on Alpine and Mercedes, which will allow Verstappen plus Norris 122 million budget. Wow, 122 million budget is insane. The Verstappen plus Norris is mental, but like I think you gotta look at it this way, right? You have Verstappen and Norris, Alpine and Mercedes, right? Verstappen, Norris, Alpine, Mercedes. Oh, hold on. I have a screen for this. What am I doing? Why am I sitting here holding my fingers up? I have a screen for this. Hold on. Let's just jump into. Let's just do duplicates. Just add this and then just remove this, and let's just let's see. Mint 758. Listen, all right, that's mint. Let's get some drivers in here. What do we have? We have Verstappen and Norris. Boom. Let's make it a bit bigger. You have Verstappen and Norris on this side, right? Compared with, yep, Verstappen and Norris on this side, and then we can add some cars. And you have Alpine. That's a big car. And just duplicate this and add Mercedes. There you go. So that's one side. And then the other side, you have. Let's put your comment here. So this is your option, right? You have this, or you can do with that budget. Yeah, I need to do. Yeah, Control D, duplicate, and then just bring in some Red Bull cars and Mercedes. So Mercedes is the same, so we can just remove it. So the option you have with that budget is basically, why are they different size? Control D. There's not that many Max Verstappens, but essentially what you're asking me, right, is this. Which side is better? Again, Lando Norris is on both sides, so let's remove him. So what's better? Max Verstappen and the Alpine car, or Gasly and the Red Bull car? The Red Bull car is going to outscore Max Verstappen. The Alpine car and Gasly could be on similar points. Like the difference between Max and the I mean, obviously if Checo crashes, then you know that's completely ruined. But I think this is stronger. I think this is stronger than this. So what I think you do with Verstappen and Norris, I think the only time you ever get Verstappen and Lando Norris in is if you want to 3x boost it. And I think you do that in like Kota or Brazil. I think you do that later. So the only way, let's bring up, because I have those as well. The only way in which this side is better is if you have this. Where is Norris? Let's put Norris back in there. So the only time that this side is stronger than this side is when you use this. So that is my answer to your question, Mints. Enjoy the lovely animation or lovely graphic. Yeah, we can just do whatever we want. This is my upgraded MS Paint, guys. All right, let's go back to the standard screen. All right, I hope you guys enjoy that. Dang, this is all fancy. Bring back MS Paint. Bring back MS Paint. I have a screen for MS Paint too, to be fair. Alright, it's starting. I need to bring up a stream that I can watch it on. Honestly, I might just pop it on my phone, to be fair. So it is time for the qualifying. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's go into. How many people do we have? 66 people. Welcome to the stream. That's a lot. Your voice is dim. Is that just me? Is this first cup? Maybe. I don't know. I'm sorry if it was. Ignore me while I'm just gonna mute quickly then. I think it's just me sitting far away from the mic. I think that should be better. Is it better? Is it better first cup? It got better when you got closer. Yeah, this mic is a bit sensitive, but it's the one I got, so better, yes. Thank you. Yeah, dang all eventually. Bring back MS Paint. Let's put this here for now. Thank you again, Hugo, so much for being the first ever member on the channel. I got a suggestion for a what's it called? I also got hair in my eyes from the cut earlier. The cut, aka the the trim I got from the barber. Yikes. Yeah, so I got a request for a Discord. I'm gonna make a Discord and then I'm gonna put some members only channels there. Jesus, I might have to go fix that. If I start crying, it's not because I'm sad that Max Verstappen's winning, okay? It is not that. Let's bring up some streams here. Recommendations for 104.5. At that point, I think you might have to look at the Mercedes plus Alpine, but I think you just do Mercedes, Ferrari, Hamilton, and then whichever C tiers you can afford. I think that's what you do. Go now before it all kicks off properly. True. Yeah, I'm gonna quickly go and just be right back. I'm gonna mute while I do this because I have something stuck in my eye. Be I agree with Hugo when I'm away. Alright, waiting for your response. Recommend using the chip. Yeah, I'm gonna do a chat with all the chips after spring qualifying. So if you have any questions about chips, I'm gonna go through all 6 chips after spring qualifying. So yeah. I've used 3 of my chips. Where can I see that actually? Continue. Yeah, so I've used 3 of my chips. I've used Limitless, Wildcard, and No Negative, so I only have the Autopilot, XOTRS, and Final Fix. Alright, so the qualifying should be up soon. I'm not watching right now, but it should have started. I have it up. I am watching it right now. Can confirm. No, I don't want it full screen. There we go. And then we can bring this up. All right. A new segment, post-race chip chat. Yep, that is a new segment. That is... hold on, I should do this. And put that top. There we go. All right. How long is the season? How many races? It is 24 this year, right? It varies every year. It varies every year. So I think it's 24 this season. Is it 23 or 24? I actually don't even know. But it goes from February to November. Like and subscribe. So yeah, I'm watching right now. It's 9 minutes. I should actually get a timer back up again. I did that last time. I completely forgot about prepping that, but that's okay. What does Perez need to do in sprint quality to be an option as second B driver? Put it P20. If Perez is P20, I buy him. Nah, maybe not. If Perez is P1 or P20, I think he's an option. If Perez is like P3, I don't think it's an option because I think there are other better options at like P1 or 2 then, or lower. If he's like P6, that's like the worst possible place to be in a sprint. Cyan Show versus Ham and Yuki, probably Ham and Yuki, but I don't know how good VCarb are here. VCarb were pretty bad last weekend, so I'd probably say Hamilton and Gasly. But what do you think of Mercedes? What do you think of Mercedes, McLaren plus Verstappen? I don't hate it. But I prefer Mercedes, Red Bull, Lando. So, yeah. I'm struggling with transfers this week, although I have 3. Yep. You're not the only one. That's what we're gonna... So we're watching this, but like this stream is not only a quality watch along. I should probably like change the title of the stream after, because there's gonna be a lot of chats. What time are you at currently? I should add a little... hold on, I could just do that in OBS right now. I think I'm pretty fast at it. Let us do a little boom and... window capture. F1 timer. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not allowed to do that for this one. Okay. So, yeah, I can't stream from there. Unlucky. Unlucky. Let's just do a regular timer then. So, that is not where I'm on. I am on reset. Let's just do 6:45 and start. That is where I'm at, and then we do a, let's see here, plus window capture, F1 timer. That is not what I wanted. Here. Oh well. Unlucky. Unlucky. Hamilton lap time deleted. But yeah, alright, so this is the timer we're on. We're just gonna do this and make it smaller. If you can't do it the fancy way, you do it the manual way. Where do we put this? We'll put it down here. And then we just do this. So I can click on here and we have the thing. There we go. Oop. Alright. Is it worth the -10? What's worth the -10? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I mean -10s right now. Like I'm looking to add Red Bull, and that would be either I do a -10 next week. Sorry, either there's a -10 next week, or I stick with the single B lineup for another week in Silverstone. Alright, 425. Verstappen still top. They're on the mediums. A lot of people haven't set a time though. Perez goes 6th fastest. That's kind of where we expect him to be, and that is not a place you want him to be in F1 Fantasy. In the sprint especially, like the worst position to be is like 6th, 7th. You get no points for that in the sprint. Can't put it this way. At some point, Sargent will DNF, so a -10 is cheaper in the long run. True. True. Though I think in F1 Fantasy, we can't think too much about the long run pace or long run value of an asset, since you can switch 2 or 3 assets every week and you only have 7. Like that means you just end up switching out teams a lot. So that's why I'm looking to get Red Bull in for 1 week. I missed where Sargent put it P12. Ricardo's lost. Sonoda's 11th. How come Ferrari over McLaren if they've been average since Monaco? Oi. Hamilton just had a moment. Or was that his past moment? Oh yeah, that's his past moment. Went to the gravel. I think price-wise, that's just it. But if you can afford McLaren, Mercedes, I think that's great. But for me personally, like Ferrari, Mercedes just makes more sense to have price-wise. Or I switch to Red Bull if I work around the funds. When I don't have Lance Stroll anymore, I can get Red Bull in, and I would get Red Bull in over McLaren. So it's not. I think all the top 4 cars or constructors are very, very even in value. Which chip should I use? I'll discuss all chips after the sprint qualifying. I'm gonna talk about all 6 chips in a row. So Ham did nearly end his race. The countryside around the track is very nice. Who would you suggest for Limitless? We'll see after the sprint. Or the sprint qualifying. So I'll talk about that after. How many people do you have? 50 people still in here. Nice. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Since it's not a deadline stream. It's just a classic watch along. But what we're doing after the sprint qualifying, so don't leave when the sprint qualifying overs, because I'm going to go through all 6 chips, talk about what I think about them. And that's basically going to be the video that I'm posting later tonight. So I'm going to talk about all 6 chips, and then I'll, end stream, edit it down, and post it. So you guys can be a part of the creating process and ask questions. 135 remains. 130 remains. Right now we have Hamilton still hasn't set a time. He's doing his lap right now. Show has also not set a time or a valid time. Verstappen's fastest, but just barely over Russell. Mercedes looks strong, man. Mercedes looks strong. Stroll put it 5th. But this track is so short. Like all the cars are gonna be within a second. One minor mistake in a single corner, and you lose 2/10 and you're gone. So this track is pretty brutal. You just have to be perfect. You just have to be perfect. Yep. We'll see if Ferrari has an off week, but it doesn't look like it. I think everyone's going to be very, very close. We need to, the long run pace information that you guys had might make a lot of difference. I don't think anyone sells Mercedes this week, though. The question is, do you 2x Hamilton or Norris? Or Hamilton or Russell? I mean, if Hamilton is lost, that is insane in the sprint. He's only 11th. Hamilton is only P11. Hamilton might be out. If Hamilton's out in SQ1, that changes everything. That actually changes everything. They argue the Mercedes driver is very close to the ground. That is very loud. Timer's up. Let's see. Should we be scared of similar disqualification as in Coda? You can't really know. You can't really know. Alonso goes ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton's only 12th. Ricciardo goes after, though. I think Hamilton's safe. Hulkenberg's after. Bottas is after. I don't think Sargent's taking Hamilton. Hamilton's lucky to go through here. Yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, that's a V-carb off. In the run-out, though. Keeps going, but that is Tsunoda gone, I believe. Yeah, Hamilton makes it through. If Hamilton would have been out in SQ1, that would have been very, very exciting for fantasy. That would have changed my plans in an instant, because I would have needed to have Hamilton for the race. Wow. All right. Ocon is through. What do we have then? Albon is show. I don't think they are out on laps. So it's show 20th again. Albon 19th. Bottas 18th. Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Tsunoda is still in it despite the mistake. Hamilton saying something. I'm gonna put on the... Oh, that's so unbelievably loud. Jesus. Hulk 17th could be something. Hulk 17th could definitely be something. Show a good pick because of overtakes. Oi, that is bigger than I thought. Oi, oi, oi. That's a big Sean. Or a big spin. I think Tsunoda needs to get out of the car and change his pants. Yeah, Tsunoda. Woo. Contributing to my own dinner fund. Cheers. Thank you so much. You know, YouTube steals like, or not steal, you know, they take like 30% of that, you know that. So I think they take 30%. Oh well. Thank you though. I mean, you are contributing. I need a bit more to eventually reach the price. Yeah, rude. First cut. I will talk about all the chips after. The initial reaction is maybe no negative, but yeah. So initial reaction maybe no negative if it's gonna rain. Stroll looking decent. I mean, yeah, but maybe everyone else was just poor. We can't really say too much yet. The track is so short, it's going to be very, very even. All right, so Hulkenberg's out. Show's out. What does that mean? Well, maybe you add Hulkenberg instead of a Gasly for overtake points in the sprints. I could do this. Get Hulk over Gasly. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see here. Yuki versus Show. V-Carb is not looking that fast. Yep. This lap is so short I would be afraid of KMAG's potential mistakes while overtaking. That's fair. It says KM. Is that Kevin Magnuson? KMAG, are you in my stream? Cirque says hello. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Cirque. You too, you too. João Pedro says, probably we should go for the most consistent drivers. Is it going to rain? I haven't looked. It looked like it was going to be very rainy. Austrian GP weather. 1 hour ago. Let's see what it says. Yeah. Alright, let's see. It's looking fine now. There's not looking to be any rain. The rain is like later on Sunday. So I think it's fine. It's not looking like rain anymore. It's not looking like rain anymore. But yeah, so consistent drivers is definitely a shout. Hamilton washed. Hamilton did make SQ. Oh wait, he did not? Did I miss something? Is Albon good at this track? Is it Albon that you're talking about, Christopher? I don't think I missed anything. Now Hamilton's still in the car. Clear on Saturday, sun is coming after the race. Yep. So it's not looking like rain anymore, which is unfortunate. Rain could be very, very exciting, but it's still a very good track for overtaking. There's a lot of like DRS shuffling potential. Is your mic far again? It's just me. No, I'm just moving about. I can't sit still. You've been on the 1 premium strategy for a while now, but on the question, what are the benefits behind that strategy rather than 2 premium? To be honest, like, it hasn't gone well for me, okay? I'm top 10k, but the main thing was budget, because I was so far behind on budget, but I definitely should have jumped. In hindsight, I should have jumped on the 2B earlier, but then I would have had to, because I was so low on budget, I would have had to have had Sargent, and Sargent has just dropped in price, so I would have probably been on a way lower budget now. The correct time to switch to 2B was Monaco, for sure. Monaco was definitely the correct time to switch to 2B, and those of you who did then are looking very strong now. But then again, I've gotten Norris correctly, and usually, apart from the Leclerc blunder in Canada, I've had the right DRS boosted driver, so I've not lost that much on it. I got a lot of in Canada, I got a lot of increases from my C-tier drivers, so. Total points and budget in the season. Yeah, SQ2. Alright, let's get the timer on. Let's see, 9:20. Start. That's the time I'm on, so you can watch alongside. So what are your total points and budget? I don't know what my total points is. I don't really keep track of that. I'm on 9,000. Oh, that's my rank now. My total points is 2,154. 2,154. And my budget is like 117, I think. It is 116.4. Yeah. I only have 2 transfers this weekend. I have the 1A lineup with Lando and Ferrari McLaren. Not sure if to switch Ferrari for Merc. I definitely think Mercedes will look strong. So if you have Ferrari McLaren, I think you switch to Mercedes. Olivia is changing like crazy today. It rained without even showing on the weather app. Yeah, I mean, things could happen, of course. Alright, Verstappen's out. 8 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna turn off the sound so I don't get scared by the alarm. If Ham doesn't make SQ3, he might be a pretty good pick. Yeah, for sure. All of those drivers, all of those B and A tier drivers that we have are really, really strong if they don't make SQ. Alright. Checo goes faster than Verstappen in Sector 1. Norris slower. Verstappen faster than Checo in Sector 2. Verstappen goes in at 151. 1518. Checo goes in at 1561. He's half a second slower. 4/10. Sainz goes fastest in Sector 2. No, I have local. So if the Sky commentators say something interesting, then let me know. I'm on Viaplay. But I should get F1. I should get F1 TV, honestly, because then I can have like the track cam up, which I think you're allowed to have. But that's probably for after the summer break. Piastri goes 1537. Hamilton fastest sector 2. Russell fastest sector 1. Here comes Hamilton. Slow in the last sector, 3/10 behind. Ahead of Checo though. Checo's looking like the P8 of this race, and that is not where you want to be for fantasy. 153 faster than Hamilton. Russell goes in behind Verstappen. Verstappen's still a 10th faster than everyone, looking to take pole. No time for any of the bottom teams. I'm assuming they are just making one run then. Yep. Don't want to use up the tires. Alright. 5 minutes remaining. I think we can sit back and relax. While we sit back and relax and wait for more things to happen in SQ2, if you're in here right now, there's 40 people in here. I'm sure someone in here right now is not subscribed. Make sure to subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000. Hitting that would be pretty cool. There's a deadline stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, 2 hours before the sprint. That's when we'll lock in the team. After the sprint qualifying, if you're here, don't leave, because we're going to talk about all the chips. That's the video for tonight. There's a lot of stuff happening on the channel in the coming 48 hours, so like the stream and stick around. It's going to be fun. 4/10 splitting the top 8 is mad. It's so hard to pick them apart. Yep. It's also one of those, just one of those tracks, right? You'll get 1K, I'm sure. I'm glad I found the channel. Welcome, man. Welcome. Yeah, I think so too. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. I just want to hit it, you know. I just want to hit it. All Custom says, I have Sainz, Hulk, Sonoda, Mag, Sargent, Ferrari, and Mercedes. There's only 0.1 left on my cost cap. Do you see any change I can make? Hulkenberg look good. Mag look good. I don't really like Sargent, but that's whatever. Sainz. Do you trust Sainz as your DRS boosted driver? I would probably have one of the Mercedes boys. For a similar price. How much are they? 21.7. Yeah, Hamilton is literally 1.1 more expensive than Carlos Sainz. Russell is cheaper. So I would probably switch Sainz to probably Hamilton. That's the one thing I can see that you could do. Checo's hard to trust with race pace though. Not sure. No, exactly. That's what I mean. Like 8th place is really bad. Like, Checo can get overtakes if he's 15th. Checo won't get overtakes from 8th. Maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. I think, like, Logan Sargent is one of those, like, if you have to have him, you have to have him. And if you have to have him, you just gotta pray that he doesn't DNF. He's gonna keep decreasing 0.1 million. He's gonna get, like, 1-2 points per race. Between -2 and +3 points per race, probably. Which is fine if you can afford, if it allows you to afford other things. You just gotta pray that he doesn't crash. No, it's 10k. It's 10k. I'm very impressed with Alpine currently. Same. We'll see how good they actually are, though. The main thing with 1k is that I start seeing ad money. Right now, if you guys see any ads on the channel, all of that goes to YouTube. I don't see a dime of that. You need to hit 1,000 subs to be able to receive AdSense. Have you got any upwards for Discord? Yes, I'm going to fix a Discord channel probably for either for tomorrow or later on. I haven't fixed it yet, but I'm working on some stuff with members exclusive things as well. So it's coming for sure. Right now I have this. I spent like all day yesterday working on getting this set up so that I can show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm hoping it still works. Yeah. So, what do you think about Ham in second and Russ in third in the race day? I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. Verstappen or Norris first, Hamilton second, Russ third. Crafting a wooden one. Yep. Great. I can do either Sainz, Piastri, Russell, Hamilton. I think Hamilton's probably best. I agree. Maybe Russell though. I think people are. One thing you could do all custom, since I'm assuming you're quite low on budget based on the team you have and only having 0.1 in the cost cap. I would probably just go for Russell and be a bit differential because Russell is. I think Russell still is very, very low owned. Yeah, he's still only owned by 10% of people, so you can go for Russell, be a bit differential, and when he performs well, you're laughing in the faces of everyone else and catching up to people. So I don't hate Russell in your case. Ooh, that's Stroll dropping it. Yeah, Stroll's gonna be lost for sure. Stroll's gonna be lost for sure. He lost the rear. Here, everyone come now. Let's see. Ocon pass as a Red Bull goes in at 1:05.68 behind Perez, ahead of Stroll. I think Stroll is gonna be lost. Tsunoda. No, Tsunoda's worse than Stroll despite Stroll's drop. VCarb is just weak. The VCarb is just not working right now. VCarb is not working like it's supposed to. Gasly goes in 1:05 behind Ocon, ahead of Stroll. I think we're seeing a very boring sprint qualifying, to be honest. Alonso behind Stroll. Yep, both are out. I think Alpine just take 9 and 10 again. Magnussen got fastest in Sector 1. Sargent goes last. No surprise there. Magnussen 1:05. Nope, 11th behind Gasly. Checo does not improve, and that's it. It's just Magnussen 11, Stroll 12th, Alonso 13th, Tsunoda 14th, Sargent 15th, unless anything gets deleted. But it's the usual top 4, and then Alpine takes 9 and 10 again. Alpine takes 9 and 10 again. Stroll is only 12th. Is it worth bringing in Stroll? Probably not. Stroll is on a sort of price point where like it's kind of hard to bring him in, and especially since he's close to getting to 15 million. Like once Stroll hits 15 million, he's the worst asset in the game, and I'm not even joking. So yeah, Ocon and Gasly through to SQ3, but I don't know how good that is. What's your cost cap budget? 116.2, I believe. Yeah, cost cap is it says right here. So, cost cap, I use it interchangeably with budget. I read that RB is running one car with the old specs and one car with the recent upgrade to see what they need to work out. Their upgrades seem more like a downgrade at this point. Yep. I didn't know that they were running cars with different setups, but with old specs. Yeah, Stroll could have gone through if he didn't have that snap. I would probably pick Alonso over him stat-wise. Stroll's not reliable. I lost faith. I mean, Stroll was reliable for price increases. We can just look at this, right? He increased the price in Canada, 1 million. Increased here. Ignore that. Increased. Here I didn't get the -19 because I limitless, so I lost value, but only 0.2. I think I bought Stroll in Australia or Japan, and since then he's been fantastic. So Stroll's been pretty good. Stroll has been pretty good. Let's put this up here. Same budget. Hey man, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. All right. Let's get locked in for SQ3. No exciting outs, really. What does it change? I don't know how much I like Gasly for P10. How many overtakes can he realistically get? Not really, right? So I don't think I'm buying Gasly. I don't think I'm buying Gasly. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm buying Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg is starting further back. What was he? 18th? 17th or 18th? So 17th or 18th sounds good for Hulkenberg. Yeah. I'm gonna put Hugo up here again. And the bottom. Thank you so much for the member. So I like Hulkenberg after the SQ3 exit. Magnussen for P11 doesn't give me a lot of faith. I already have Ocon, so no, the V-carb looks nowhere. Gas or Yuki for fantasy points? I don't know. I mean, Gasly from 10th is not that good. Like, how many overtakes is Gasly realistically getting? Maybe one on Ocon? So I don't think Gasly is that good of a pick anymore. Yuki has more potential, but the V-carb looks bad. Daniel, which car is running the old specs? Is it Yuki or Daniel? Do you know? Rumor has it 5 people become members. Rain will bring back MS Paint. True. So yeah, I don't know which one here. Probably Yuki, to be honest. But it depends on who's running the old specs. Who are the best teachers for this week other than Hulk? I don't even know. I mean, Alpine could be good if they also are good in the regular qualifying and in the actual race. But Alpine from 9th and 10th isn't that fun in the sprint. So probably Hulkenberg is my favorite. Magnussen from 11th is not that great. Tsunoda is further back. What was Tsunoda? 14th? So I don't know who the best seater is. I think Hulkenberg is the main one, but it's close. I think you just go with the Alpines because the Alpines can at least get like a P9, P10, and if someone DNFs in the front 4 teams, they will bump up. Like if Gasly gets like a P7, you know, he's probably increasing in price. So Tsunoda 14th, yep. Sargent's gonna lose positions? Yeah, probably. Sargent is better from P20. Like Sargent from P15 is pretty bad. I think he's likely to get passed by like Hulkenberg, you know? So I believe Ricardo's on the old specs. He did not feel good about that because of Spain. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Romy, I don't see a subscribe option for your channel. I'm considering it if I overtake the guy first. There should be a subscribe option. But yeah, if you overtake first, how about a deal, Romy? If you watch my videos and that makes you overtake the guy who's first in your private league, you have to subscribe. Got it? Deal? Nice. I also just hit my mic. I'm sorry about that. Deal, Romy. Nice. Good deal. I'm rooting for you, man. Stick around because there's going to be some discussions in after SQ3. After SQ3, we're doing a discussion on all of the chips. So all 6 chips, we're going to discuss them, how viable they are in Austria. Just because, you know, Austria is such a important one. Sorry, correction. This relatively upgrade was total. Maybe you're selling out. All right. Bye, darling. Romy, I'll come back after SQ3 because I want to watch it. Yep. Come back after SQ3. If you're leaving to watch SQ3, leave and then come back because there's a lot of discussions happening here. What team would you suggest if I decide to use Limitless this weekend? Well, Philip, I don't think you should use your Limitless the way the qualifying is shaping up, but we'll see what happens at SQ3. So don't drop your Limitless yet. I will make a Limitless team after the after SQ3. I will make what I think the best Limitless team will be, but I don't. Right now, it's not looking ideal to use Limitless. Run different space in Yuki. Okay, yeah. So that's essentially what I'm doing. Yeah. So nice deal. It's starting? Not yet. Not yet. Use Limitless in Miami for 358 points. I also use Limitless in Miami. I don't remember how much points I got. We can check. I got... Oh, yeah, we were on the same team then. Yep. Same exact team. 358. Miami was apparently a bad time to use it. It wasn't a bad time, but it was not ideal. Like, it worked out. But it wasn't the best weekend to do it. Yeah, I think a lot of people got 358s. I think there were, like, nothing stronger than this. China popped. Yeah, China popped off. If you used your Limitless in China, then you definitely popped off. So, if you didn't see, I did make a video that said this is why you should use your Limitless chip in China, and I was omega correct. That is probably one of my best calls so far this season, along with buy Ocon and buy Norris. I've had some good. I mean, I've been kind of unlucky. Usually, I've had like 2 different options. Like, I want to do this or that. Oh, timer's up. Wait, 6:40. Start. Alright, that's my SQ3 timer. So I've had a lot of like 50-50 decisions go wrong so far this season, which is why I've been very unlucky with budget. I've been very unlucky with like C tier assets in particular. I've like sold Yuki before his big points and stuff like that. So I've been unlucky with the C tiers, but all of the big calls this season I've gotten very, very correct. So 2x Norris in Miami on Limitless, that went well. It would have been insane if it didn't DNF in the sprint, so don't feel too bad, Dan. That's just what happens sometimes. That's just what happens sometimes, Dan. Alright, let's lock in for SQ3, boys and girls. Everyone's just waiting. I don't understand why they have such a long timer for the sprints. Like, everyone always goes out last minute anyway. No one has time to do 2 runs. Did the same thing? Yup. So I have somewhat of a pedigree, like a lot of my calls this season have been very, very correct, but pretty much all of my 50-50 choices have been the worst option, so that's just unfortunate. Let's see, 528, 61 people in here. Before SQ3, make sure to like the stream, make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000. Surely one person in here is not subscribed. Check it, pocket. We have a deadline stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, 2 hours before the sprint race. We're talking about all the chips after SQ3 is over, so stay around. 5 minutes left. No one's out on track. I'm excited to see Lando get his participation trophy, aka Driver of the Day. True. Team 2 is on 121.8 million. It's okay. 121.8 is insane. I'm on 116.2. Whoever is in P2, Driver of the Day. True. Yep, that is that is very, very accurate, Christopher. I think like Lando in P3 could even get it. I really want to know how warm the tires feel when they take the blankets off. The wheels look so shiny. It is, what is it, 80 degrees? 90 degrees? They changed it this year to how hot they're allowed. So they're pretty fucking hot. Sorry for swearing, Jesus. 115.4 million and struggling. Hey man, Vitor, you're not the only one. I'm only slightly richer than you. And I'm only slightly richer than you thanks to Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll has carried my team budget so far, or my cost cap. Forbidden Candy, yup. I slip up sometimes. I try to be family friendly, but I slip up sometimes. Alright, 3:33 remaining. Not a single car is out on track yet. This could be a spicy one. This could be a spicy one. 59 people in here. Like, subscribe. $312, $311. I did not hear what Russell just said. Debating wildcard into a max build? Maybe. I like Norris more than Max though. Oh, here we go. Mercedes go out. McLaren behind. Ferrari behind. Red Bull behind. Max is going to be lost at a time. Oh wait, no. Alpines are going to be losses at times. No new tires for Gasly. Maybe they just accept they're not gonna get any positions here. Why is Alpine not on new tires? Huh. Forbidden Candy, yeah, the tires do look shiny. But why is Alpine not on new tires? Are they just saving tires? Just to clarify, you buy a Mercedes to replace Ferrari Constructor? I mean, oh, you were on McLaren. You had McLaren Ferrari, right? Yeah. You probably sell Ferrari to Mercedes. You could sell McLaren to Mercedes too if you want funds. Like if you need funds, you could do that to upgrade something else. This one shot might be magic, madness. Dude, watch Hamilton. I actually big brain. Hamilton sets in a time, Russell binges in the wall, red flag, Hamilton P1, everyone else is just jumbled randomly. What is happening? Ferrari still. Leclerc's waiting. Is Leclerc going last or is he... What's happening? I just might do Ferrari plus Mercedes. Ferrari plus Mercedes is really strong. It's probably the best budget building option right now. I mean, it is the best budget building option. Leclerc, yellow flag. Yep. Nah, it's fine, it's fine. He just went out, so Leclerc's lost. Alright, Hamilton goes first. Yeah, I think Leclerc's fine. Yeah, reasonable decision by they're trying to keep a tire sniffer there. I think so too. I think that's what Alpine are doing. I think they're like, yeah, we're gonna get P9, P10 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Verstappen and Leclerc causing panic attacks. Yup. Not a perfect first sector for Hamilton. Faster than Russell though. Piastri goes fastest in sector 1. I don't think Hamilton's sector was that good. I don't think Hamilton's first sector was that strong. There's a lot of things happening now. Timer's up. Hamilton goes on 1. Leclerc didn't get across. Leclerc didn't get across the time. Leclerc's 10th. No time for Leclerc. What? Leclerc doesn't have a time. Leclerc didn't make it around. What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What? Leclerc didn't make it. Leclerc's 10th. That could be good for Leclerc. Leclerc owners. So we're bringing in Leclerc? Maybe. Norris 104. That's looking like a pole time right there. That was very fast by Norris. Sainz splits the Mercedes. Verstappen. Oh. All right, that's well. I thought Norris would take it. Norris did not take it, but it was close. Verstappen and Norris in a league of their own. Piastri third. I mean, that could be good for McLaren. So, Cirque, you might wanna stick with the Mercedes McLaren plan. Leclerc from 10th though. Bringing Leclerc in. Perez is tragic. P7 is awful. Ocon is 8th, ahead of Gasly. I think that's good for owners, but I'm not bringing Ocon or Gasly in because they're likely just getting overtaken by Leclerc. So Leclerc is gonna take 2 positions probably, right? Both the Alpines. Max is the inevitable boss battle. True. All right, that's it for that. I can't believe Leclerc didn't make it round. That is such a blunder by Ferrari, but it is better for owners. Very, very, very interesting. So, Do you think Leclerc can overtake Hamilton? No. Maybe Checo, but even then, I don't think we're bringing in Leclerc. I don't think we're bringing Leclerc in. I don't think Leclerc from P10 is that good. It's definitely better than like P7, fantasy terms. But so I think like Leclerc's better than Checo, but I don't think you rush to buy Leclerc for that. So Lando, Max, just in a league of their own. Mercedes look pretty fast, but McLaren also look fast. And then it's Red Bull. So I guess what I'm considering is like, do I bring in McLaren or Red Bull for Ferrari if I'm doing that transfer? Which I think I'm doing. I think I want the Max Verstappen points. I could either like force it with McLaren. Piastri is P3 to be fair. But again, like we can't look too much into the points for the sprint for those top assets. They won't get that much. I think it's still Red Bull. Because yeah, like okay, look at Checo for example. Checo was like what, P7, P8? And then he, you know, finishes there, gets like 3 points in the sprint or whatever. It's tragic. But like Piastri, say he finishes P3 in the sprint, he might get overtaken by Russell from P4. So say he ends P4. That's like what, 8, 7, 6, 5 minus 1. That's 4. That's 4 points for Piastri. So that's only 2 more than what Perez gets. So I don't think I love McLaren over Red Bull, to be honest. I think I prefer Red Bull just because of the fastest pit stops. So right now I'm still kind of stuck on... Let's remove this. I don't need this anymore. I'm still kind of stuck on this, to be honest. And then this allows me to bring in Hulk, which I think is the best C-tier option for the sprint race. I think that's what I'm doing. I think that... But I mean, I'm not making the transfer yet, obviously, but... I watched your video on Limitless. What are your thoughts now? My thoughts are that it's a bait. But we're going to talk about it. I don't want to listen to... You know, I love Max, but I'm just going to do this because I don't want to listen to the talk. I don't really care. I'm sorry. I don't really care. Let me bring up some stuff, and then we're going to get into talking about what this means. What it means. I need to bring up my YouTube again. The deadline is... No, the deadline is before the sprint. The deadline is before the sprint. So... The deadline is before the sprint. Let me just get everything locked and loaded here so we can start it up. How do I get back into my... let's see. Why can I not get back into the... I don't know how YouTube works, man. Oh, control room. There we go. All right, I'm back. All right, 91 people. Welcome, everyone. SQ3 just finished. We're going to discuss what I think the best course of action is. Let me just get comfortable. Back in my... I'm back in the chair. Now it's my turn to do the commentary. I haven't made any transfers yet. I wouldn't make any transfers yet. We still don't know. There could be people starting from pit lanes. There could be things happening that would change this. But welcome everyone. Trickle in, trickle in, trickle in. 86 people. Let's do... I'm just going to edit the title quickly and tweet it out. So we have post sprint quali discussion. There we go. Save. And then we will just, let's see. Let's get the link, and I'm just going to tweet it out. And then right after that, we are going to talk about the chips, because a lot of people have been asking about the chips. We're going to talk about all 6 chips, which I think are viable, which I think aren't viable. We're going to talk about the Limitless. I made an entire video on the Limitless chip, so if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out after this stream, because there's a lot of information there regarding the Limitless in general, not just for Austria. Quick tweet, post sprint qualifying discussion live right now. Which chips should you use? And then some fun emoji. What do you think? So grab a drink. We're gonna be here for a while. Essentially, I'm just gonna be yapping about this for a while, and then I'm gonna end the stream and make a video out of it. So don't forget the standard hashtag F1 Fantasy. If you're joining right now, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like. A lot of things are coming. We're doing another deadline stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, 2 hours before the sprint. The deadline is sprint start, so don't miss the deadline. Don't make your transfers yet. Things can definitely happen between now and then. There is the tweet. If you're in chat, go and like it, so it boosts up in people's feeds. So jump in and get it. Michael, hi, I'm back. Welcome. Is Leclerc a hold or drop? Or maybe I should take a -10 for the RB build. Michael, let's bring up the thing here, because I can do this now. I can highlight it here too. My new little toy. Thank you so much for the donation, Michael. I think Leclerc's definitely not a buy because of that. I don't think he's necessarily a drop. It depends. Are you on 2B? If you're on 2B, I don't hate Leclerc as the second option, but I wouldn't DRS boost him. So spring, you meant sprint? Yes, I definitely meant sprint. Did I say spring? Whoops. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I misspeak sometimes. 96 viewers, welcome in. Trickling, guys. I'm gonna start soon. Why not swap Tsunoda for Alonso? Because Alonso is a B-tier asset and kind of bad and very expensive. So I just don't like Alonso. We are going to do this so that I can have this on the side. I should do this every time. I have a new little toy for those of you just joining in. I can click on some comments, and then I can see what I can show you guys which comment I'm responding to. So that's always fun. But yeah, thank you so much for the donation, Michael. That means a lot. For the super chat. That is a very, very kind of you. We're gonna talk about Leclerc. We're gonna talk about Leclerc for sure. I'm just going to ping this here, and let's see some questions first. First thoughts about the sprint. Best C-tier asset for the sprint is looking like Hulkenberg. I don't know. I don't think of using Wildcard because I have a lot of sorting out to do. The Wildcard looks fine. Yes, I do misspeak sometimes. Worth it watching a deadline stream at 3 a.m. Ooh, yeah, you American? Unlucky. Yeah, I get up 3 a.m. No, you can join for the watch along. We're doing the watch along as well, because you're definitely getting up to watch the sprint, right? You definitely need to wake up for the sprint. So I'll be here. Brick wall. Yeah, you're on Leclerc Norris. Yeah, I really like that, Michael. Just stick the DRS boost on Norris. Keep Leclerc. Leclerc's probably getting 2, maybe 3 overtakes in the sprint, and then that's a 6-pointer. That's pretty good. I think the real question is 1A or 2B. I mean, the 1A, 1B is probably the best, to be honest. Norris and McLaren, I can only afford one with Sargent and another B-tier driver. I mean, Norris is better than McLaren. Norris is where the value lies in the McLaren assets. Which constructor combo is the best? Anything from the top 4, really. Probably. I mean, I'm looking at getting Red Bull for this race. But they all have different merits, right? They all have different merits, so I think you can go for... Red Bull looks strong for points, McLaren's not bad, and then I think Mercedes is the one that you should have right now. So I think you have either Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari with Mercedes. Mercedes look really, really strong. K-Mag or Ocon, probably Ocon, but it's close. K-Mag from 11th, I'm not really a massive fan of. Ocon starts P8, so it's, you know, it's kind of, if Ocon can get an 8 in the race as well, he's probably increasing in price, but yeah. Thoughts on Leclerc, Piastri, who's 2x? Probably Piastri, right? I think you 2x Piastri if you're on that strategy. But honestly, in that case, I would probably sell Piastri to Hamilton and do it on Hamilton, but Is it better to have 2 constructors or 2 better drivers? 2 constructors, always, Andrew. Always prioritize 2 good constructors for points. There are some crazy builds out there with Alpine as a constructor, but I think it's kind of trolling right now, at least when Mercedes and Ferrari are below 25 million. The main value why you would go for an asset below... the main reason you would pick an asset that is not from the top 4 constructors in the constructor side is budget gain, and right now Mercedes and Ferrari are also gaining budgets, so there's really no point in picking them. Red Bull, McLaren, either Norris or Verstappen. I think Norris, Leclerc, Ferrari, Mercedes. Looks pretty strong. I like it. Norris time 2, Leclerc, Hulk, Show, Sargent, Mercedes and Ferrari. Don't really know what to do. Looks pretty strong. You have Hulkenberg, which is my favorite C tier. You have Show, which is fine. Sargent is whatever. You could switch Leclerc to Hamilton if you want, but I think they're going to be very close because Leclerc is P10. So, Pierre or Ocon? It's 50-50. Probably Pierre because the team prefers him, but maybe Albon could be good. P19 has potential. Yeah, but I don't think the Williams has potential. The Williams look pretty dog, to be honest. What do you think about changing from Norris, Sainz, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Mercedes, Ferrari to Norris, Piastri, or McLaren? The Bottas, Show, Sargent, McLaren, Mercedes. Yeah, I don't like Sainz. Where's Sainz qualifying? P5? Yeah, that's kind of bad, to be honest. I like the switch from Sainz to Piastri. So, from -20 though, I missed that. I wouldn't do it from -20. I don't think the point is going to be that big of a difference. Like, you're talking about a sprint race. Like, remember that Piastri, if he just stays P3, he gets 6 points. Sainz, if he stays P5, gets 4 points if there's no overtakes. So, that's 2-point difference and you're taking the -20. The potential is not really there for more points. There's obviously a race as well, but we don't know who's going to be better. So I don't think it's worth -10. Don't do for a -20. Boshidar. To the second beat the driver rank order: Hamilton, Piastri, Russell, and Leclerc. It's so close. Leclerc is a bit better in the sprint. I don't really like Hamilton from P6. So it's probably not Hamilton here. Well, Russell is P4, right? Yeah, Russell's P4, Hamilton's P6, Piastri's P3. So probably Piastri, Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton. But it's literally a toss-up, 25-25. Should I go Norris, Leclerc, Sargent, or Norris, Russell, Bottas? I think that's a no-brainer, Norris, Russell, Bottas, I'm going to be honest. I think Leclerc and Russell are really, really close, and getting Bottas over Sargent, it's just such a massive upgrade. Bottas is known to do some crazy overtakes too, so, and the Sauber team usually just lets Bottas pass Show, so that's a free overtake sometimes. Yeah, I may switch Leclerc to Hamilton to get more points for the entire weekend. Yeah, I mean that's definitely viable. I have Hamilton, Sainz, but yeah, just remember that the sprint race, you don't get a lot of points for the sprint race. Hamilton in P6? That's, what, 3 points? If he stays there, 3 points. Leclerc overtakes both Alpines, that's 4 points. So, but then again, it's going to be so even in points between them that you might just have to predict who's going to be better in the actual race, and I think that's going to be Hamilton, so I think you go for Hamilton. We're swapping Ferrari to Red Bull for a -10. That is an interesting question, Mimenza, and I think it might be because I'm not doing it right now because I have 3 transfers and I want to get Red Bull in. I think I'm pretty, like, right now, unless something crazy happens, I'm pretty set on just doing this. I think Hulkenberg looks really, really strong for overtakes in the sprints, and he's always a decent option in the race as well. So I really like bringing in Hulkenberg this week over Gasly because Gasly's starting P9, and there's not really that much points for Gasly to gather from P9. So I like Hulkenberg in the sprint a lot, and then so I think Hulkenberg is really, really good for increase. Let's bring Emma's Paint up. Where's Emma's Paint? I think it's Emma's Paint time. Emma's Paint. All right, are you ready? Rain. Fantasy. Number one tip is let's get a Haas color in here. Hole is best. Why am I changing? Hole is best C tier. So when in doubt, if you're not doing it like, okay, getting something like a Norris over something like a Sainz, that obviously takes priority. But if you have a, you know, if when in doubt, if you're making a C tier switch, make sure you have Hülkenberg in there. Make sure to have Hülkenberg in there. Yep. Alright. -10 to switch Sargent for show. No, Roberto. No. This is the content we're here for. True. Hell yeah. -10 for Sargent for show. Sorry, Roberto. I don't think you ever take a -10 for a C tier assets. C tier assets, like the difference between Sargent and show, at most is gonna be 10 points. Unless like, you can't predict DNFs, obviously. So at most it's gonna be like 10 points. So at that point it was a, you know, it was a nothing decision. So Victor, welcome. I got Norris, Hamilton, Sargent, Bottas, and Hulk, Ferrari, Mercedes. Should I change 115 million? No, I really like that. You have Hülkenberg, you have Norris, you have Hamilton, Ferrari, Mercedes. Looks good. You know, Ferrari's a bit of a, is stinking it up a bit, but I mean, you're still gonna get budget from them, so I don't hate them. You have Norris, you have Hamilton. You just put DRS on Norris. All right. Gasly or K-Mag? It's very close, thingy. It's very, very close. Sorry that I'm missing some questions, guys. There's a lot of people in here. 120 people. Thank you so much, everyone who just joined from the sprint qualifying. We are discussing all of the chip strategies very, very soon. I'm just taking some quick questions. This is not the deadline stream. I'm doing a deadline stream tomorrow, 2 hours before the sprint. So that's 10 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, 2 hours before that, you can join the stream to get the final questions in. We're gonna discuss all the chips mainly. That's like the point of the stream is to talk about all the chips. But I'm just taking some questions now because it's fun. So last week I didn't listen to you and listen to someone else, and it's the last time I will make that mistake. Loyal to the channel. Hey man, Victor. Salute. Nah, but the other guys are good too. But like, yeah, Nora, I'm gonna toot my own horn a bit. Okay, I get the big decisions right. All right. When I have a 50-50 decision, I always get it wrong. So always do the opposite of me then. But like the big decision, I always get correct. You know, Norris is better than Verstappen. I was very early on that. I got Limitless in China very correct, and then by Ocon the other week. So I'm usually pretty good at getting the big decisions correct. Nico says, "Hi boss, I have Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Sargent, Mercedes, and Ferrari to swap. Don't know what to do." I think you keep Leclerc. I think you swap Sainz to a Mercedes driver, and I think that's you chill there, because I wouldn't trust any of Leclerc or Sainz with the 2x boost. So I think you just yeah, I think you just swap Sainz because Leclerc is better than Sainz here because like Sainz is starting what, P5? That's 4 points. Meanwhile, Leclerc is gonna overtake 2 Alpines for free and get 4 points. So I think you pick Leclerc. You keep Leclerc as a second driver and then Sainz, and then you can, if the V Corps look bad, you can switch Tsunoda to something, but you don't have to. Could you please greet my friend Larcy? Hi Larcy. He isn't watching. Alright, is this race to use no negative or 3x? We're going to discuss that right now, Laura, sorry. Mario the Laura, thank you so much for the question. We're going to get right into that right now. Any other team-specific questions that you have for your team, I'm going to take that in a while. But right now, we're going to discuss the chips. The chips. We have... let's see here. I have a specific window for this. It should be this one, right? Yep. So no chat. You're gone now. We will only have the the highlighted comment up. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone being here. We're gonna talk about the chips now. So what do we have? Well, let's make sure we have enough slides here. Basically, we're just making this in the moment because it is fun. We have some stuff here. Chip chat, chip chat, chip chat. Yeah, this is a good highlighted comment. Thank you so much again, Hugo, for being the first member of the channel. Shout out you. Make sure to like the video right now. Like the stream right now if you haven't. What am I doing? We have uploads here. So let's find all the chips. We have the extra DRS. We have the no negative. Then we have the Limitless. And then we have another one of these. So that's no good. Let's do the Wildcard. And then we'll do the final fix last because that doesn't really matter here. And then we'll do the Autopilot here. Oops. Delete that. Just boom. All right, so let's start about, okay. So I'm gonna do this a bit differently. I'm going to do this as I am recording a video. But I will be chatting chat as well. So this is then going into a video later on. So let's remove that. Let's get this up here. Alrighty then. So the extra DRS chip, how does it work? You have basically a 3x on one driver, any driver, and then you have a 2x, your regular 2x that you always have in every week. You can put that on an additional driver. What this means is that you should only use the extra DRS chip if and only if you're on a 2 premium driver strategy. So let's add a little text box. 2 premium drivers only. I feel like this is the main one, and it's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't have 2 premium drivers, like I don't have, you don't use this chip. Now let's talk about something a bit more abstract. I think the best use of the extra DRS chip over the course of this season is going to be on a combination of Max Verstappen and Norris. Actually, let's add in them like this. So Norris and Verstappen. I don't know why little Lando Norris is so small, but he is. So I think these two are the best case scenario for your extra DRS chip. If you can have a team with Verstappen and Norris, I think your extra DRS is going to get a lot of points. Verstappen because he wins, Norris because he gets driver of the day, and is generally just a good driver. The problem is that these two are very expensive, and usually, and especially in a sprint race, I think what is important is sort of what I discussed earlier in the stream, that we have let's see here, we have Red Bull here, and we have, let's add another Max Verstappen here. So let's make these a bit smaller, shall we, so we can fit everything here. So boom. So I think this is best case scenario. Best case scenario. Best case scenario is these two. The problem with these two is that they're very expensive, and we have this. The Red Bull Constructor is better than Max Verstappen, and if you have Max Verstappen, you can't afford the Red Bull. So the reason speaking against the 3X is that later in the season, you might afford Verstappen plus Norris easier. And what I mean by easier is without compromises. Compromises such as running a stinky Alpine. You don't want to run a stinky Alpine. So because of this reason, I think you don't use the 3X. I think you wait for Kota or Sao Paulo when your budget is bigger, so it's easier to afford these two best drivers. Now, do I absolutely hate the 3X? No. If you're sitting on like a Norris and a Hamilton, for example, or a Norris and a Russell, will the 3X be good? Probably. But some of you will be able to afford Verstappen and Norris later in the season while still maintaining two good constructors. So, yeah. Oh, I might want to unpin that. True. I did not notice that. Yeah, that's fine. Clear. I can just click there. So, yeah. Later in the season, you might afford Verstappen plus Norris easier. Thanks, Hugo. Yeah. So, I think that's the thing with the extra DRS. I don't hate it. I think, let's minimize all of this a bit. This, tip it on inside, do a bit of fun stuff. If you're using it, I think the best use of it is definitely, let's add some text. If you are using 3X in Austria, if you're using the 3X in Austria, I think you definitely have Lando or Max Verstappen if you're super rich, but I think it's probably Lando because Lando will most of the time allow you to afford something like a Hamilton or a Russell. And I think this, or let's add another one, or Piastri. I think this is the best 3X you can do. Lando Norris with the 3X, and then you have your 2X on one of these drivers. I don't hate it. You can definitely do it, but I would personally save it. I mean, I personally have to save it, but if I was on a 2X, and even if I had Lando and Hamilton, I would probably save the 2X. But I mean, because I ideally, I ideally want to use this when I have both Max and Lando. 2X. There you go. So that's the 3X in Austria. I think that's about it for Austria. Brickwall Productions says, can someone loan me 0.1 million so I can get Red Bull Constructor? I'm so close. Unlucky. Sarah says, considering driver of the day in Silverstone, Norris over Verstappen. Yep. Gotta think about that too. Mario Delar says, I can get Max and Norris, but I need to change Mercedes to Alpine, and that is what you should not do. I don't think it's worth it switching to Alpine to have Max and Lando. Because I think you can get Max and Lando without doing that later in the season, perhaps. Mercedes or Ferrari, says Marco. I definitely think Mercedes. I think Mercedes are looking stronger right now. Let's just clear this, and let's move on to the next chip. The no negative. Alright, so the no negative chip. Let's add the big one first. Let's add the big one first. Best in sprints. This chip is best in sprints. That's just how it works. If you don't know why, check out my chip strategy video where I discussed the no negative. It changed this season and is now superior in sprints. You should not use the no negative in single race weeks, even if it's raining. I think it's just way too good in sprints. So it is best in sprints, so I think you should use the no negative in a sprint race. Now, about Austria, let's just copy this, Control C, paste. So as for Austria, let's group these. So as for Austria though, it's not looking like there's gonna rain. No rain in the race. Sad face. Which means that you could definitely save the no negative. However, I think the no negative is so strong in sprints that even if it rains in Spa, even if it rains in Singapore, like, it probably doesn't rain in Singapore, but you get what I'm saying. Even if it rains in any race in the future, Sandford, I think you use the no negative in a sprint race all the time. I think it's that strong. There's just 2 races, twice the chances of, well, not really twice, but there's 2 starts. There's usual DNF. DNFs are more common at the start, so I guess it's like twice the chance of a DNF, and you just save yourself from heartbreak. So, can you explain what it does simply? Of course, all customs. The no negative basically removes all the negative score lines from your from an asset, right? What this means is, let's quickly go over to the basic view and go over here. Let's pick Landstraw. You see all of these categories, right? You have race position, qualifying position, race overtake, sprint, and then you have sprint, you have qualifying, and you have race, right? So you have these different, you have all of these, right? Basically what the no negative does is that it removes all of the separate ones that are negative. So, for example, here, the -6 would be gone, and the -20 would be gone, meaning Landstraw in Miami would have ended up on 7 points. So, since it's not removing the overall negative, but rather the each individual negative value, let's check here as well. Here, and in a normal race, there's only 3. Right? Or there's 4, right? Race overtake. Yeah, there's only 4. There's positions gained, but, you know, yeah, there's positions gained or lost. There's race overtake, qualifying, and race position. So, there's only 4 in a regular weekend. In a sprint weekend, there are 6. You can only see 5 here, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, here you go, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7. Only a couple of them can be negative, of course, but even here in China, if you had Landstraw, the -4 would be gone. Landstraw would end with 13 points. So that is what the no negative does, and that is why it's so powerful in the sprints. So let's then go back to the presentation. There's no rain in the race, but I think the let's do this. Oops. I think this is strong enough. No negative is strong enough that it is, let's see, it's strong enough that it is worth using in any sprint. Let's make this smaller. There you go. No negative is strong enough that it is worth using in any sprint. Should you use it in Austria? You don't have to. You can definitely wait. Brazil sometimes has rain, so you might want to save it for Brazil. One thing you could consider is that you have more. Let's do this. So these are just points. Let's do another. Let's see here. So we have something that's important is that later in the season you are more likely to have better assets, meaning let's just shorten it down, do this. Later in the season, you are more likely, that is not how you spell likely to have better assets equal less chance for DNF. I think we can agree on that, right? Bigger budget, better person. True? Yep. We can agree on that. Later in the season, you are more likely to have better assets because bigger budget, better person equal less chance of DNF. Now, is this, you know, the DNF chance? How likely is that a significant number? Probably not, right? Yes, I don't think Bottas will DNF as much as Sargent, but is it going to be close? Probably. There might be one DNF more. So because of this reason, I think the NN is better in an earlier sprint. All right, that's important. I think I think that's true. However, comma, we get to another one. Austria has a low DNF rate. Austria as a track is not very commonly DNF'd on. What does all this mean? I think since there's no rain, Austria has a low DNF rate. I think if you still have your no negative, you save it for Brazil. I think that's what you do. I think you save it for Brazil, and I think if you're using the 3x, you use that in Kota, because Brazil might rain. So I think this is what you do. I think you save it for Brazil. I don't think you use the no negative here in Austria. All right, that is the no negative. Any questions? Thoughts on Alpines this week? Them being clear fifth makes them bad for fantasy. Yes, I agree. They are bad in the sprints, right? They're bad in the sprints. They are better in the race. Like Alpine fifth fastest team in the race is actually pretty good, because all you need is one person from the top 5 teams to not perform, Checo, and one person from the top 5 teams DNFing, and suddenly you have an Alpine on, like, you know, P7, and that's decent points. Like that's 6 points. That's probably enough for them to increase in price. So I like them being fifth fastest team in the race, but in the sprint it makes them really bad, in my opinion. They added gravel near the track, yes, but that is not going to increase DNFs. That is so tiny. That is just going to make, sorry, Jesus. So the gravel is not going to increase DNFs. The gravel is just going to make it so that it punishes drivers who take the curb too high. Thank you, Tommaso. Switch Ferrari for Alpine to gain budget. I think that is a no for me, Brandon. Thank you, Horacio. Also, in later sprints, you will want the chip slots for 3x DRS or Autopilot. Yes. So that is definitely important too. I think Autopilot is probably... I think Qatar is the last... Qatar is the last sprint, right? I think Qatar is a good place to use the Autopilot. But yeah, Autopilot can you know, really be used in any race later on in the season. Autopilot doesn't have to be in a sprint race. Autopilot could be used in a sprint race, but it could also be used in another race. Never made budget with C-tier teams, only drivers. I agree, Suera. At least until once Mercedes and Ferrari hit A-tier, then we can maybe start talking about Alpine, right? Say Alpine keeps improving and they're like the clearly fifth fastest team, and you want to build budget for a couple of races, you might go for an Alpine alongside one A-tier once none of the top 4 teams are building budget. But right now, the only reason you would want Alpine is to build budgets, and Mercedes and Ferrari are just building budgets similarly to the Alpine. I mean, not all the way, but close enough. So I think if you want to run budget, you run Mercedes, Ferrari. What's the hot topic? Well, different chips. We're talking different chips. We're talking... so this is the extra DRS thing. I think if you're using DRS in Austria, these are the teams you should have. But I'm not going to use it because I think you need this. You can have this later in the season. Later in the season, you might afford Verstappen and Norris easier. Yeah, because right now, if you want to afford this, you have to remove some constructors. So yeah, Austria's traditionally low DNF tracks while no negative better in sprints. This is one I use it. I agree, Matty. If it was raining, that's a different story. But I 100% agree, Matty. I think the consensus for no negative is save it for Brazil. If you still have your no negative, you save it for Brazil. I've already used mine in China and it worked really, really well. So I think you save it for Brazil. True. 3x is better in Austria or Qatar now. Austin, Qatar or now. I think 3x might be strongest in Qatar. Qatar is the last, if I'm not mistaken, Qatar is the last sprint race, right? Race weekend, complete, where can I see this? Schedule, here we go. We have 2024. Yes, Qatar is after Vegas. It's the second last race, so I think Qatar might be the strongest place to use 3x because that's you're most likely to have Verstappen and Norris here. But then again, we could get to Kota and Norris qualifies P15, and suddenly everyone wants to use 3x with Norris and Verstappen there. So it depends, but generally I think Qatar. Piastri, Hulkenberg, or Russ Ocon? Probably Piastri, Hulkenberg. Maybe Russell Hulkenberg, honestly. I think Hulkenberg. Yeah, bring MS Paint back up. Boom. My number one fancy tip is that Hulkenberg is best seater in Austria. So, Hulkenberg. Top 3 seater asses this weekend. I don't know which way I'm pointing. Yeah, that's the right way. Hulkenberg. I don't know who's probably the Alpines. Hulkenberg and the Alpines probably. Would you Limitless this week or in Silverstone? Let's talk about the Limitless, shall we? What am I doing? We should go to boom. Transition. No, big cam, and then we go to the presentation, and we go to the Limitless. Limitless. There we go, right? Sick. Let's clear this out. I'm gonna get to all the team specific questions a bit later. 114 people still in here. That's really great. If you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. Out of 114 people, I'm sure someone has not subscribed in here. So make sure to do it. There's more coming. We're doing a deadline stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. 2 hours before the 10 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. 2 hours before the sprint. The deadline is at the sprint. Let's talk about the Limitless. If you didn't see earlier in the week, I posted my Limitless guide talking about the Limitless and talking about why the Limitless is stronger in single race weekends. And I think that's going to be the case. Austria is a very good track for overtaking. There's a lot of DRS juggling going on in the back. So I think the seater asses are very strong. I think don't use it. I don't think you use it in Austria. I think that's the consensus. I think you use it in a single race week. Or you hold it and see if any crazy qualifying happens in the later sprints. But I don't think use the Limitless chip in the Austrian Grand Prix. The assets that I would want if you're Limitlessing, I think we have Max Verstappen. And then we have a bunch more. I mean, ideally you would have 5 Max Verstappens. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Okay, that didn't snap. So let's just duplicate him again. Don't worry, we're adding more drivers. If you have already activated it, bad decision. It could work. But I think the team you go with is Max Verstappen. You go for Lando Norris. Then I do think you pick Charles Leclerc, because Charles Leclerc is starting P10, so it's better than some of the other picks on the grid and can still do decently. So I think you pick Charles Leclerc. And then I think you pick either both Mercedes boys, or you pick Piastri in there. I think you probably go for Piastri and then either Mercedes. This looks weird because you're hedging the bets on four drivers. I think Russell starting higher than Hamilton in the sprint is better. So probably Russell. But it hurts to pick Russell over Hamilton. I am a bit Hamilton based. So yeah, I think this is the team if you do it. Obviously you put the 2x on Verstappen. Even if Norris is DRS boost. Like if you have Verstappen, you're putting the DRS boost on him. You kind of have to. Right? Even without the driver of the day, Max Verstappen is likely to win. So I think Max Verstappen should just be your option for the 2x. Let's add some text to specify it. Can Norris outscore him? Of course. But I don't think that's guaranteed. If Norris does not end up P2 in the race, if something like a Russell or a Piastri ends up P2 above Norris, I think they get driver of the day. So I think Max Verstappen is the best 2x because you can't predict who's going to get driver of the day or fastest lap. So I think you just stick it on Max Verstappen and call it a day if you're using it, but I don't think you should use it. Which constructors though? I think that's pretty easy. I think you don't care about budget at all. You definitely go for Red Bull. And then you go for either Mercedes or McLaren, but probably McLaren. That's a very big car. Let's just duplicate this and add them. I think it's pretty easy to just go for McLaren and Red Bull. Mercedes could be an option, but I think you're trolling. I think this is the Limitless if you're using it, but I don't think you should use it. That's okay, Matty. On delay, that's okay. That happens sometimes. So what do we have? Clyde, I'll talk about the autopilot in a second. Norris, Sargent, or Piastri, Hulk? That's a close one. I really like Hulkenberg for this race, but I really like Norris too. I don't know. Probably Norris, Sargent. Yeah, it's a sprint. Norris, Sargent. Norris, Piastri versus Norris, Leclerc. It's also very close, Tim. It's also very close. Which constructor should we go? EPA. I think you go for Red Bull McLaren on the Limitless. All custom Piastri or Hamilton or Russell. For second driver, probably Piastri, maybe Russell. It's again, all of these drivers are so close. It's vibes based. What's the reason for not using Limitless? I'm not going to talk about that here. I made an entirely separate video. It's the last video I posted on my channel. Check that out. It's 15 minutes. It goes through the maths, why you should use the Limitless chip in single race weekends, unless something crazy happens in sprint qualifying. Nothing crazy happened in sprint qualifying. Austrian GP is a good track for overtaking, so C-tier assets are going to outperform these guys. We're talking Charles Leclerc, we're talking Russell, we're talking Sainz, we're talking Hamilton. The C-tier assets, we're talking Piastri. The C-tier assets are going to outperform them in the sprint, meaning that you should use them in, yeah. So yeah, but if you want to see the maths on it, check out my latest video. Which single race would you use the Limitless for? Ideally as early as possible. Let's check the schedule actually. Probably one with where overtaking is difficult. Maybe Hungary actually. Hungary could be a really, really good one. Hungary could be a really good race for, because there's not many DNFs in Hungary, and Hungary is a very poor track for overtaking in general. So the C-tier assets are really bad. So I think if you have your Limitless still, I think you use it in Hungary. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna add that to the presentation. Actually, let's just make this entire thing a bit smaller. Oops. And just move it up here. And I'm going to say use it in Hungary. Yeah, I think Hungary is a really good place to use it, honestly. So if you still have your Limitless, I would pop it in Hungary. I would pop it in Hungary. Alrighty. Oh! 3 down, 3 to go. 3 down, 3 to go. What else do we have? I can get Brick Wall says I can get Red Bull Racing and Mercedes if I do double stake. Is that cool? Yeah, that seems fine. With Norris too, looks great. I really like that Brick Wall. What do you think the 3x chip? I could afford Norris, Verstappen, Bottas, show started. Okay, so guys, I just talked about the 3x chip. Jetto over here is the one exception because he's giga rich. That is crazy that you can afford that right now. Jetto, honestly, I think you don't do it. Because I talked about how I prefer, I think the best way to use the extra DRS is when you have Verstappen and Norris. But Jetto, you're so rich that you can just wait. I think Jetto is like top 50 in the world, by the way. I think Jetto, you just sit around and wait, and once we get to like Kota You can have this. You can have Red Bull as a constructor as well on top of that. So I think you chill, especially since it means you have to buy sergeants. So I think with your crazy budget, you also wait. 10th in the world right now. That is insane. That is insane. Yeah. This game is really a rich get richer type of game. Yeah, Jetto being that rich means that he is more likely to afford this, which means that he can gain even more points. I think you have a good shot of winning the entire thing, to be honest. That should definitely be the goal, though, because I think someone at the top surely has burned has already burned their 3x. So you might actually be like first, considering you haven't used your 3x yet. Thoughts on using no negative? Yes, we just discussed it. I think no. I think you save it for Brazil. Austria has a low DNF rate. There's no rain. I think the let's make this even bigger. No, it's best in sprints, so you should use it in a sprint race. No negative is strong enough that it's worth using in any sprint. It's better in an earlier sprint, but I think the low DNF rate in Austria speaks against it using it here, and no rain. So I think you just you save it for Brazil. If you have no negative still, I think you save it for Brazil. Let's David says, can you show the team you're going to use for this race? Sure, we can talk about that for a second, and then keep talking about the chips. Chip chat. Let's go to Big Cam and switch over to my team, and let's do this one. There we go. So David, right now this is my team. I'm very likely to get Red Bull Racing in and Hulkenberg. 2 transfers. I saved 3 transfers for Silverstone. Doing this means that I have to either run a single premium driver lineup in Silverstone, or I have to take a -10 in Silverstone to get to a 2 premium driver. So it's I'm probably upgrading Ferrari to Red Bull and then getting Hulkenberg. This could be Gasly too, but considering Hulkenberg qualified much lower in the sprint, I prefer Hulkenberg over Gasly. So I think this is what I'm likely to do. For Hungary, I definitely want to be on a 2 premium lineup because Hungary is so bad for overtaking. So this is what I'm probably doing, but I haven't decided yet. Things could happen overnight. So let's go and talk about the wildcard. Ferrari triple lineup needs to be corrected. I agree. Let's talk about the wildcard. There we go. So, the wildcard. What are we doing here? The wildcard is obviously very team dependent. Is that how you spell dependent? I think so. Yeah, it's very team dependent. The wildcard allows you to switch. You make infinite switches without taking -10 hits. You keep your same budget. You just make transfers, and your team. That's what you. So you can just have infinite transfers essentially. It's very team dependent because of this. I think I 100% agree with Nar over here that you should use it to correct 3x Ferrari lineups. I agree with that 100%. Now, what team should you wildcard in? Obviously, it depends on budget. Depends on budget. But you should check out F1 Fantasy Tools. Do we have Team Calculator? Maybe we already have this done. We don't have the... you can check here. So you just go to Team Calculator. Let's do this. You just go to Team Calculator. Let's remove all the betting ads because... So you go to Team Calculator, and then you can select here, and you can just write in your budget. So I have a budget of 116.2 million. We don't have the Austria calculations yet, but they should be out relatively soon. And when you get those, you can just do this and see the best team. This was the best predicted team for Spain. I would go with something like this. I would probably just trust F1 Fantasy Tools. They're pretty good at predicting. Now, is it the best? Maybe not. But I think it is good enough to where you can use that as an outline and then sort of pick your team from there. So I think it depends on budgets, obviously, but use F1 Fantasy Tools as a baseline. Obviously, don't trust it. It's just simulations. Anything can happen. Use your own intuition. But using the F1 Fantasy Tools optimal team tool as a baseline seems like the correct way to use the wildcard. I think you probably prepare with a 2x lineup, with a 2 premium driver, with a 2 premium driver lineup. I think you definitely make sure you have. Let's just add some cars in here. I think you definitely make sure to have 2 of the premium. Oops. You definitely make sure to have 2 of the premium cars, or 2 of the premium constructors. This could be Red Bull, it could be McLaren, it could be Mercedes and Ferrari. And you go Mercedes and Ferrari for budget. You go Red Bull. I think you go Mercedes +1, honestly. So let's put Mercedes on its own pedestal. I think for constructor, if you're wildcarding, you go for Mercedes +1 more, depending on what you can afford. Yeah, so something like this. Let's just move this here. Make these 3 a bit smaller. As for drivers, I think you make sure you have Hülkenberg, because Hülkenberg looks to be the best C-tier asset for Austria. Let's remove the comments. Nar, you did the job. Thank you for your insights. Yeah, so I think you definitely have Hülkenberg, and then you do a 2 premium lineup, probably, depending on budget, of course, but probably Norris +1. +1. So what this means is, let's make Norris a bit bigger. You do a Norris +1 type deal, where Norris is the DRS boosted run, and then you run, it could be a little Russell, it could be, I don't know why one is always bigger than the other, it could be a Russell, it could be a Hamilton, it could be a Piastri. I don't think you do Sainz, personally, just because of his price point being similar to the Mercedes. I think you can do Leclerc, for sure. So I think that's what you do. And then you just pick what you can afford after that. I think this is probably what you do for wildcard, but I think you don't have to do wildcard. But that's probably what you do here. All right, that ends it for the wildcard. Any questions? Would you prefer Norris, McLaren, Red Bull, or Norris +1, McLaren, and Mercedes? So for this, I would definitely say in Hungary, right? In Hungary, when overtaking is difficult, you definitely prefer Norris +1 plus McLaren plus Mercedes. For Austria, I think I prefer Norris, McLaren, Red Bull. So if you have Norris, McLaren, if you have Norris, McLaren, and Red Bull, I think that's better in Austria. But make sure you can move to Norris +1 plus McLaren plus Mer with 4 free transfers for Hungary, because Hungary is so poor for overtaking that you want as few C tiers as possible. So yeah, that is what I think about that. Thank you for the question, Arbison. We're gonna have to take a -10 either now or next week. Take your pick, probably. So red over B tier asset. Yeah, I think Red Bull is really, really good here in Austria specifically. But later on, others could be good for budget. But I think Red Bull is just better than McLaren, but obviously they're more expensive. Thank you for the help, says Arbiton. No problem. Gasly over K-Mag. Tim, it's very, very close. I don't actually know which I prefer. I think I prefer Gasly, since K-Mag is 11th on the grid. Let's talk about the Autopilot. I think the Autopilot is a... wait for rain. Wait for rain, probably. You wait for rain. You wait for 2x premium strategy only. Premium driver only. Let's make this a bit smaller. So obviously you wait until you have 2 premium drivers because you don't know which one is going to be better. But I don't think you use it now. So you think you wait for rain, and don't use it in Austria. Don't use in Austria. So that's a pretty short one. Autopilot essentially allows you to, well, your 2x DRS boost is automatically placed on the driver that scores the most points, which means you want to have 2 good drivers in there. Because if you only have 1 good driver, it's obviously going to be the one who scores the most points unless it's DNF. So I think the Autopilot, in that case, you wait until you have a 2x. It's not guaranteed to be good at all. It's probably the weakest chip in the game. But it's still a good one. But I think it's stronger the later on in the season it gets. And I think it's decent in rainy races when DNFs are more likely. It's also probably good in Singapore when DNFs are more likely. So right now, the Autopilot is a don't use. LBJ says, how would you rank the C-tier drivers after Hulkenberg? Well, let's talk about the final fix first. That's all you need to know about the final fix, because the final fix can't be used yet. So let's talk about the C-tiers, shall we? Let's duplicate the page. C-tiers. And then let's add a little driver portrait of Hulk. So right now, I think for this race, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's make them a bit bigger. Let's make them like this big, shall we? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have the Williams. We have the V-Carbs. We have the Alpines. We have the Saubers. We have Magnussen. And we have Stroll. So what do I think? I think Hulkenberg is clearly on top for this race. Just because we know that he's starting further back in... just because he is starting further back. I think Magnussen is really good. He starting from P11 is not great in the sprint, but he can still start P18 in the race and perform well. I think the Alpines are bad in the sprint, but considering they could still end in the points in the race, I think that makes them automatically good. So I like the Alpines despite their starting position in the sprint being suboptimal. I don't hate Stroll. He's a bit more expensive though. I think clearly Logan Sargent is the worst. The Show is starting last, which is always good. Nothing can really be bad, so I think Show's good. I think you have probably Bottas and Ricardo and Yuki here. And I think Albon's probably here too. I think this is probably the correct... I think Gasly's better than Ocon because Gasly's cheaper and they prefer him in the team. He just signed a new contract. I think Stroll is probably the best of these. Yeah. Byron says, does it look like it's going to rain on Sunday? No, I don't think so. It's not looking likely. It's looking like it's going to rain after the race. Which chip are you picking? I'm not doing any chip. I'm doing no chip. Let's see some questions then. 106 people still in the stream. Thank you so much, guys. This is not the deadline stream, by the way. We're doing the deadline stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. That's 2 hours before the deadline. The deadline is at sprint start. We are doing 2 hours of chats, and then we are doing a watch along for the sprint, of course. So it's going to be fun. Rainsy says, I have Leclerc, Stroll, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ocon, Mercedes, I presume, Ferrari with 3 transfers and 5.1 million in the bank. Any tips? I don't trust Leclerc as your only driver to DRS boost. Is my answer to that. I think that is scary. I think that's pretty scary. Let's move to Big Cam for now. Let's move to Big Cam for now. We have yeah, okay, so I think with Leclerc, Stroll, Mag, Tsunoda, Ocon, 3 transfers, 5.1 million in the bank is a lot of money. I think you get Norris in. Probably Norris into DRS boosts. Or you upgrade Ferrari to like Red Bull Racing. With 3 transfers, you could switch Leclerc to like a Hamilton or a Russell. You could downgrade. Stroll to a Hulkenberg, because that is my #1 tip this weekend. That Hulkenberg is the best C-tier asset. So you can downgrade that, and then you can afford to upgrade for Red Bull for the sprint. So that's probably what I would do. We're going to see. But yeah. Let's see. A lot of questions. Sorry if I missed your question, guys. Currently on Norris, Leclerc, Hulk, Albon, Bottas, Ferrari, Mercedes. Can go Leclerc to Piastri or Hamilton, then Ferrari up to McLaren, or Leclerc down to any B-tier driver and Ferrari to Red Bull. Really can't decide. Yeah, it is close. I agree that you can't really. I mean, Norris Leclerc looks pretty strong. I don't think you have to sell Leclerc, honestly. Hulk, Albon, Bottas, Ferrari, Mercedes. Like, Leclerc is probably better than most of the Ferrari and most of the Mercedes boys. Leclerc down to any B tier. Leclerc down to any B tier, Ferrari to Red Bull looks pretty strong. If that means you have to take a -10 later, that's probably worth it. Red Bull's going to outscore Ferrari by more than 10 points, surely, right? So I actually really like the Leclerc down to, what, a Russell? Leclerc down to Russell and then upgrade Ferrari to Red Bull. I really like that, Matty. Should I transfer in Red Bull for McLaren, but take 10-? If it was for Ferrari, then yes. But I don't know if it's worth for the McLaren. McLaren could outscore Red Bull, especially if Checo DNFs. I'm gonna see. Answer mine, please. Is it this one? MHD. I have budget to have Verstappen, Piastri, McLaren, and Mercedes, but I have to use unlimited transfer. Do you rather do this or have Verstappen, Ferrari, McLaren, Sainz with max 3x? Verstappen, Ferrari, McLaren, Sainz with max 3x. I don't think I would use the 3x here. I budgeted Verstappen, Piastri, McLaren, and Mercedes. Looks, yeah, that is pretty strong. I like that. I like that. But I have to use unlimited transfers. So your wildcard then? I'm assuming you mean that you have to use your wildcard. Maybe you can avoid using the wildcard here, but I really like the Verstappen, Piastri, McLaren, Mercedes lineup. I wouldn't use the 3x here. Nino says if I use 3 transfers, I can have Norris, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Bottas, Show, Red Bull, Mercedes with 4.4. Yeah, that looks pretty strong. Norris, Hulk, Gas, Bottas, Show, Red Bull, Mercedes. Yeah, I really like that, Nino. You have 4.4 in the bank, which is strong. It means you can later switch, because you probably want to sell Red Bull back to like a Ferrari later, so that you can upgrade one of those C tiers to a second B tier. So I really like that, Nino. All customs: Piastri, Gasly, Hulk, Tsunoda, Sargent, Ferrari, Mercedes. Any chip needed? No, I think you're fine. I think you're fine, all customs. Looks good. Zach says option 1 Norris Russell Ferrari, or option 2 Verstappen Ocon Red Bull Racing. Norris Russell Ferrari, or option 2 Verstappen Ocon RBR. I think option 2 for Austria. Option 1, no, it's Verstappen. Yeah, no, I think option 1. It's close. I think option 2 for Austria, but option 1 in every race after. So it depends on if you want to switch to get it back later. What would be your team? 114 million for this race. My team's at 116 million. But what I would do, Charlie, is that I would go to F1 Fantasy Tools, and I would wait for the team calculator to update. You just click here, and you can check once it shows up here, Austria. You can just write in 114 million and click recalculate. So f1fantasytools.com is what I would do, Charlie. That is what I would do. Tommaso, I'm running Verstappen, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Ocon, Gasly with Ferrari, Mercedes, 1.6 in the bank, 3 transfers. Any recommendations? Ferrari, Mercedes looks good, 1.6 in the bank. Tsunoda, Mag, Ocon, Gasly. I really like Hülkenberg here. You have 3 transfers. I would probably get Hülkenberg in for someone. I would honestly, Tommaso, downgrade Verstappen to Norris and then upgrade Ferrari to Red Bull and then change one of your C tiers to Hülkenberg. I think Red Bull Racing is better than Max Verstappen as an asset, and I think Norris is better because you get the, you're like more likely to get the, like, imagine like this, right? Red Bull Racing always get the same points that Max Verstappen gets because Max Verstappen never gets a driver of the day. And driver of the day is the only points that the driver gets that the constructor don't get, right? So because of that, Red Bull Racing will always get the same points as Max Verstappen. So everything that Max Verstappen does, the Red Bull Racing constructor will do as well. On top of that, the Red Bull Racing constructor will get Perez points if Perez doesn't crash. And they will get the fastest pit stop points. And even if Perez has a howler, the fastest pit stop points could be enough to make up for that. So I think the Red Bull constructor is just better than Verstappen. It's cheaper too. So I think you run Norris DRS boost, and then over Ferrari you run Red Bull, and then you get Hülkenberg. I think that I really like that, to be honest. My number one tip this weekend is if you are unsure what to do, Hülkenberg is the best C tier option. Hülkenberg looks really, really good from, what, P17, P18? Where did he start? Latest. What happened? Sprint qualifying. Results. Where did he land? 17, yeah. 17. With low DNF rate, the focus is more on points than budget building this week. Probably. But there's also a lot of overtakes here, so it can be on budget building for sure. Like, low DNF rate, but it's still 2 races, you know? It's still 2 races, so I still think C tiers can be strong. Alright, it is 6:30. We are going to be rounding out soon. Any final questions? Don't worry if I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions. There's a lot of people in chat. 109 people right now. Like the stream if you stayed here the entire time. A lot of people, again, thank you so much for the support. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're so close. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do it. If you have more questions and your question didn't get answered in this stream, don't worry. The deadline is tomorrow at noon. It's at noon Central Eastern Standard Time. So as previous weekends, we're doing a deadline stream 2 hours before then. So at 10 a.m. tomorrow Central Eastern Standard Time, you will have all your questions answered. I think that will do it. -10 to go from Ferrari to Mercedes. I don't think that's worth it. I would do -10 from Ferrari to Red Bull. But more of these questions will be answered tomorrow. But it's always close with the -10s between the constructors. Thank you so much if you stayed this entire time. 110 people. Like the stream, subscribe. Final run. Go, 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 go. Let's see, what do we have right now? How many likes do we have on the stream? 57. We can definitely get that to 75. Come on. There's 110 people in here. We can definitely get that to 75. 18 likes before we leave. Come on. Thank you so much for the stream. We're doing it again tomorrow. Same thing. Well, not really the same thing, but close to the same thing. We're watching the sprint. We're chatting in the deadline. We're making the final transfers. We are discussing the the F1 Fantasy Tools predicted best lineup, which I assume will be out by then. Go on, 66. We can definitely get 9 more. We can definitely get 9 more. We can definitely get 9 more. 107 people in here. Maybe most people have liked it. Alright, I'm dropping out now. Thank you so much for watching. I'm back tomorrow. I'm gonna go edit the video. Video will be out later today, so if you joined just now and missed all the talk about my team, I will post the video in a couple of hours once I've finished editing. Thank you so much for watching. I'm heading out now. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.